Hello, my name is Emmett Gill, and I am the Executive Director for Athletes and Advocates for Social Justice in Sports. And before I share a little bit about our organization, I want to take this time to thank Barstool Sports. It's not often that folks from the field of sports reach back into the community to help individuals who are vulnerable, who need assistance. And during this pandemic, there are many businesses who need assistance. And so thank you, Barstool Sports. Athletes and Advocates for Social Justice in Sports is a 501c3 nonprofit organization or business. We've been around now for a little over a year. And just to step back a little bit, um, my experience has been in mental health and wellness in college and professional athletics. I'm the former director of student athlete wellness and personal development at the University of Texas at Austin. I'm also the former professional sports crisis program manager for Vibrant Emotional Health, where I was in charge of evaluating mental health emergency action plans for the National Football League, as well as providing quality assurance for the NFL Lifeline. In terms of athletes and advocates for social justice in sports, although we've been around for about a year and we evolved from the Student Athletes Human Rights Project, we really got going in February in the aftermath of the George Floyd um, police-involved shooting, Breonna Taylor, and others. And the goal of our organization is twofold. It's really to, first of all, look at injustices that unfold in college, Olympic, and professional sports. Sometimes, we feel as if athletes have everything, but we certainly know, especially when we talk about college sports, and we talk about issues like miseducation at the University of North Carolina, or we talk about Title IX issues at Clemson University, or we talk about, issues of name, image, and likeness, state and federal legislation. That there are many injustices that happen in college sports. And so one of the primary tasks of this nonprofit organization has been to, one, provide support to college athletes during COVID. One is through telehealth, mental health counseling for college athletes. Secondly, providing resources for college athletes who opt out and no longer have eligibility to play intercollegiate sports. We've also been providing assistance to the families of athletes in terms of helping them find resources. We are mostly social workers, and so one of the things that we are able to do is to broker services for college athletes and their families. And of course, your Barstool Sports, so um, that you can't provide college athletes with extra benefits. Nonetheless, we have been able to provide those resources during the pandemic. The other piece that we've been involved in for a little bit, for about 9 months now, is the name, image, and likeness legislation. So we've been working with organizations, we've been working with state legislatures, we've been working with interest groups to try and inform them about name, image, and likeness, what should be included in legislation, what are some of the best practices. And we've been organizing college athletes so that they can also inform legislators in terms of name, image, and likeness and what should come along with name, image, and likeness, whether it's healthcare, whether it's a fund for injury, or whether it's other things that college athletes need. And we know, from our federal and state legislation that oftentimes when there's an issue, there are other issues that attach. So the second piece is we have been working diligently with regard to name, image, and likeness legislation. I think the third piece that we've been working on in terms of college athletics is that we have also been working on diversity issues. And our first piece that we worked on was a race and gender report card for mental health professionals in college sports. You may or may not know that every Division I, Division II, and Division III athletic department is mandated to have a mental health professional. Unfortunately, there's a lack of diversity, whether it's racial diversity or gender diversity. So we completed our first report in December of this year outlining the race and diversity grades for every Power 5 conference school. And we will continue to do that work in terms of voting initiatives, because there's a push to have college athletes involved in the 2020 presidential and state elections, as well as grading different diversity task forces that have been developed at the Power 5 conference level. And then the last piece that we've been doing college athletes is providing information for them, in terms of how to become advocates and activists. So we've worked with universities, the University of Virginia, Michigan State University, UCLA, the Big Ten, as well as a few other schools, just in terms of providing college athletes with some technical assistance that will help them. Because we know that in the aftermath of George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, that college athletes were very interested in becoming advocates and activists, but they need to do that in constructive ways. And so we've been helpful on that front. So to sum up our piece in terms of what we do with college athletes, we're really looking to have an impact on the athletic community, both by supporting college athletes who experience vulnerability or experience injustices, but also preparing them to be involved, in their community. And this isn't just a thing where we're thinking about the presidential election or state elections, but a lot of the work that we've done with college athletes is just preparing them to engage in civic participation on their campus or in their immediate community or back in their hometowns. And I think we have had a positive impact. I wish I could share with you some of the comments that we've received from college athletes and from their athletic departments about the work that we've done, but we do it in a different way because we're authentic. I think that one of the great things about our organization is that we are independent. Therefore, when we are providing this programming, this free programming that we provide for college athletes, that we have an opportunity to speak with them authentically and truly from the heart. The other part of our organization is that we are trying to do some work in the pro sports space. We are hopeful, we are prayerful that as the NBA season and the NHL seasons commence, that we will be one of the organizations that they call in to do either mental health pieces for their audience, or whether it be social justice forums, talks, discussions. And we've had some success there, and we're hoping that these things will come to fruition. But our primary piece as we move into 2021 is going to be we want to mobilize the different efforts, right? So you've got NBA, MLB, MLS, all doing their different things. But we want to bring them together because it goes to your second question. What type of impact are you having? And part of the thing that I think that we do well is, one, we build coalitions. We bring people together. And two, in doing that, we're able to look at what they do and measure what they do. Your Barstool Sports, that whether we're measuring assists, touchdowns, quarterback ratings, the measurement is important. The last question, what are we going to do with this funding? Well, we have 2 full-time professionals, but we have 5 graduate students. And those students depend on us for stipends, and we have not been successful in providing them their stipends for the past couple of months. And so, that's where the money will primarily go. Now, we have some other operating costs. We have to pay for, the premium Zoom package and the premium Doodle package and the premium Kahoot package, because these are tools that we use as well as running our website. And these things cost us probably about $450 a month in addition to our stipends. So to answer the question, the funding will be used for stipends for our college students who do the work for us, and they'll be used for our infrastructure, whether it be our website, whether it be our hotline costs, whether it be our toll-free number costs, whether it be our Zoom costs, whether it be our Doodle costs, whether it be our Kahoot costs, whether it be our Doodle costs. I think we're doing a great service for our college athletes. I think if you look across the environment, in terms of the businesses that are asking for this money, that we are very unique. And so I want to close by thanking you for this time. But I also want to thank you again for the work that you're doing. I'm a fan of Barstool Sports, but I'm even a bigger fan now, regardless of whether our organization is awarded any assistance. You're just doing a really incredible thing. And thank you so much. God bless you. Stay safe, stay well, and the best to you.